Hey guys, happy Sunday. Today I have some new makeup to share with you, some more speed reviews. And if you guys are new here and you're watching for the first time, or if you just discovered my channel recently, Sundays are usually my day where I talk about new makeup. So anything that may have come out recently, if I got it in PR or if I purchased it myself and happened to see it in store. And in the past, I used to do unboxing style reviews, but I've just gotten a lot of feedback from people saying that you like the speed review format a little bit better. So anyway, let's go ahead and jump right in, and we'll start with something that came in last Monday, which was from Flower Beauty. They sent over a box with their brand new Charlie's Angels collab palette, and they had previously told me in an email that they were going to be sending over the palette and asked if that was okay, but I didn't realize I was going to get all this other stuff with it, so I was super excited. And one of the things in the box was the Heatwave Bronzing Essence, which I haven't tried before, but I love their Heatwave bronzers, so I was really excited for this one. Also the Charlie's Angels palette itself, and then an eyeshadow brush, and I think their brushes are amazing. We have the Flower Pots Blush in Spice Petal. These are honestly my favorite drugstore blush formula. The Lash Warrior Mascara. I don't like this one quite as much as Warrior Princess, but it's still a really nice formula. The Forever Wear Liner, which I also haven't tried before, so very excited for that one. And the Perfect Pout Lipstick in Blossom. I love this formula and this color. And then finally, the Bitten Lip Stain in the shade Koi. So let's go ahead and take a look at the palette first. As you guys may know, Drew Barrymore was one of the stars of Charlie's Angels, and she is also the founder of Flower Beauty. So inside we have a shot of Drew from the movie with a really beautiful, warm, smoky eye, gorgeous makeup look. And then on the other side, you have the palette itself with 8 shades, both matte and shimmer finishes. I'm honestly not a huge fan of the way that this is laid out. It kind of seems like a waste of space. I feel like the overall palette could have maybe been scaled down to like a square palette versus a rectangle, closer to the size of that circle, just so there wasn't all that blank space around it. I feel like it looks a little bit awkward, but let's go ahead and just look at some swatches. Okay guys, so this formula feels so amazing. The shimmer shades are so buttery and really pigmented, and they remind me so much of their Jungle Lights and Desert Lights formula, which I love. Those are my favorite palettes from Flower Beauty. And then the matte shades I felt like were also really nicely pigmented and very smooth. So I was impressed with how the formula swatched. And then next, let's just take a quick look at some of the other products that were in the box, starting with the Heatwave Bronzing Essence. So you might remember me saying that their Heatwave Baked Bronzer is one of my all-time favorites, and I've just been really excited to try this. I just, for some reason, never pulled the trigger. It's a serum formula with a dropper, and it can be used on its own or mixed into foundation if you want to add some depth and warmth to it. You can see from one hand to the other, it does definitely warm up my complexion without looking orange. It doesn't have any sparkle in it either, and it melted right in with no sticky feel, which I thought was awesome. Next, we have the Flower Pots Blush in Spice Petal. These are my absolute favorite drugstore blush because the colors are so stunning, the packaging's beautiful, and they're just so soft and blendable. And this shade is a matte finish. I really love the color. It's like a spicy nude pink with almost a little bit of terracotta in it. So, so pretty. Next up, we have the Perfect Pout Lipstick in Blossom. Every single time I wear this shade in a video, I get questions asking what's on my lips. It's just a perfect deep nude pink, and the formula is so nice. It's super creamy and hydrating, almost like a lip balm with some color to it. And then next up, we have the Just Bitten Lip Stain in the shade Koi. These are actually a really nice formula as well. Unlike a normal lip stain that goes on dry, this one has a bit more shine and hydration, and it takes a little while to dry down, so your lips do stay comfortable. After a while, it leaves a nice stain behind, and I really love this color because it's just like a subtle peachy pink. Sometimes stains, I think, just get too bright and bold for me, so I really like this color, and this is actually what it looked like after I washed my hand, and some of the stain is still left behind, so that just kind of tells you how long-lasting it is. And then last but not least, we have the Forever Wear eyeliner, which I've never tried before, and when I swatched on my hand, I thought it felt really, really creamy and easy to draw on. To test the staying power, I actually let it sit for a few minutes, and then I tried to remove it with an oil cleanser, and despite me scrubbing back and forth several times, there was actually still a trace of it left behind. So I'm thinking this is going to stay really well on the eyes. Unfortunately though, I feel like it's going to be a real pain to remove it at the end of the night, but if you're somebody who needs your eyeliner to stay on a really long time, I think this might be a good one. So here's a quick look that I did with the palette. I thought the shadows applied really beautifully to the eyes. The matte shades blended easily. The shimmer shades made a really nice impact. I enjoyed using this palette, even though it is very similar to others in my collection. And then we also have the Spice Petal blush on my cheeks. So I kind of did a whole look with these products. And I just think the warm tone of this blush complements the palette really well. I love this color. And then on my lips, I have the Perfect Pout lipstick in Blossom. And like I said, it's just the perfect pinky, warm nude color. And it also pairs really well with the blush and the palette too. I just feel like it's a very cohesive look. And then next up, I think it was back on Tuesday, I ran into CVS just to grab something. And of course I had to look in the makeup aisle. And this particular one that I go to tends to put out new makeup pretty quickly. So I saw some new things on the JOAH display. I actually made a whole TikTok video about it. And if you don't follow me over there, definitely look me up. I'm at Jen Phelps Beauty. That was just a quick little shameless plug. But anyway, they do have new blushes, a Cica skincare line, a setting spray, brow gel, new Glassify lip glosses. So I did pick up a couple things and I had some time to test out all the products and I really wanted to share my thoughts on them. So first up, let's talk about the Heal Me Cica Blurring and Cooling Primer. So this one claims to be blurring and cooling and contains aloe and centella to calm and soothe your skin. It does have this really thick texture at first and kind of like a light pistachio green color. I thought it was so pretty and it melts into your skin. It immediately starts smoothing and blurring texture. And honestly, the feel of this is reminding me a lot of my L'Oreal Studio Secrets primer, which I love and has since been discontinued. It just has a really nice, thick, cushiony kind of plush texture and it blurs your skin really well. So let me show you guys a quick before and after. Not only did it blur and smooth my pores, but I feel like it also took down the redness that was in my skin and made it look way more even. And even though that's what Cica products are supposed to do, I was kind of surprised by the after picture. I took these right in front of the exact same window, only a couple minutes apart, so I don't feel like the lighting is different or anything like that. So overall, I was really happy with it, but I did want to mention one thing, which was the cooling aspect. So initially when I put it on my skin, I was expecting to feel a cooling sensation right away, but it was something that sort of developed after a couple of minutes. Once I put it on, I was like, okay, it's not cooling, but then as I started applying foundation on top, that's when the cooling sensation kind of happened. So I quickly took a look at the ingredients and realized that this contains peppermint oil. So if you are sensitive to that in any way, I'm not really too sure how that is on the skin. So if you happen to have a sensitivity to that, I just wanted to mention it. It didn't bother my skin, but I feel like peppermint could potentially irritate some people. So I just wanted to mention that in case you were thinking about purchasing this one. I also got the new brow gel. This is called Brow Down to Me Super Hold Brow Setter with vitamin B5, and it claims to give a really soft, flexible hold without drying to a stiff texture like a lot of brow gels do. So it gives you that kind of fluffy, natural brow look that's really trendy right now. It reminds me a lot actually of the new NYX Brow Glue. It has that same really soft feel, and I mean, it's a brow gel at the end of the day. I personally like my brow gels to be that type that dries really stiff and kind of holds them in place because my brows tend to grow downward like this, and I always want to brush the hairs up and then hold them like that. And I didn't feel like this had quite enough hold for me. So I think if your brows are not that unruly and you just want to kind of brush them up and give them that natural fluffy look, this will work. But if you need a lot of hold in your brows, I don't feel like this is quite enough for that. Next, I also decided to try their new Air Light Blushers. So this was so exciting to me because JOAH hasn't had blushes in a while. They originally came out with, like when their line first launched, they had these blushes in these cardboard palettes. They were kind of like an ombre blush with a couple different colors, and it was just kind of cheap packaging. It had the little window in the top, and I wasn't a huge fan of it. The formula was okay, but they weren't my favorite. And then they discontinued those and they haven't had a blush for a little while. So I was super excited to see these, and they don't seem to be on their website yet, but I purchased all 4 colors just in store. So if you have JOAH at your local CVS, you could always check there. I'm sure they'll be on the website soon though. And the colors that they have are really pretty. They're just a nice mix of like pink shades, peachy, and nudes. And when I swatched them, I was really impressed with how lightweight these feel, but they're also really nicely pigmented and smooth, but yet buildable at the same time. So I feel like they are a very similar formula to a lot of other K-beauty blushes that I've tried. So I also did film myself applying these blushes, so I want to show you what they look like on my cheeks. So the first one is Warm Poppy, and this was just a really bright peachy pink. I really love this one on my skin tone. I think it warms up my face really nicely. And then next we have Pink Dahlia. This one was a little bit of a brighter, cooler tone pop of pink. And while I applied very little to my face for a natural look, I feel like this one could be built up to be a much brighter shade if you wanted to add a little bit more. Next up is Naked Rose. This one is a nude with a little hint of pink in it. It's such a stunning color. I feel like this one would go really well with any look because it's like more of a neutral shade. And then last but not least, we have Bright Peony. This one is a warm rosy nude and it's the deepest color. And I actually had to use this one a little bit more sparingly on my lighter skin tone, but I was able to sheer it out very easily. So with these, I feel like they're very versatile because you can either just apply a sheer wash or build them up. And like I said, they layer super well and they don't look powdery or chalky. So I really like that as well. And just overall, I'm very pleased with JOAH in general lately. I think they just have some really nice products. I think when they first launched, they underwhelmed me a little bit, but I just think they've come such a long way with their packaging and just the brand as a whole. I think they're really kind of coming into that whole K-beauty vibe and really taking inspiration from it, from the packaging to the formulas, and everything is also made in Korea too. So I just have been definitely more impressed with them than not lately. So I think they're shaping up to be one of my more favorite drugstore brands. So next up, I did order a couple things from the XX Revolution line. So they unfortunately are not available at Ulta. You have to go to Makeup Revolution's website to order these. But I have definitely noticed a change in their shipping lately. It's not coming from overseas anymore. My package actually came from Kentucky, so it got to me very quickly. And I just feel like their website has so much more than is available at Ulta. So they had a lot of really pretty things. I just tend to check every once in a while and see if there's something that catches my eye. And there's a new collection from their XX Revolution line, and it's called the Pretty Little Peach Collection. And I just thought this was so beautiful. They had the prettiest packaging, and of course, because it's Makeup Revolution, everything was affordable. So I just couldn't resist it, even though Makeup Revolution can be very, very hit or miss for me. So I decided to take a chance and see what happened. And let's go ahead and take a quick look at what I got. So the first thing was the Cloud Burst Primer. So this I thought looked so pretty. Like, look at this packaging. It has these little pearly beads inside, and as you dispense the product, those are supposed to burst. So I was kind of assuming that this would give a really pretty glow to the skin. It's kind of like a serum primer, but when it comes out, you can kind of see that little bead crushed up in the gel. Like if you look closely, there's some white in there. But as you work it into your skin, the little pieces of the pearl, I was assuming they were just gonna kind of melt and make like a pearly glow, but they don't. It just kind of like those little chunks of the pearl just float around and they don't absorb at all. They just stay like these little chunks of white pieces, almost like if you had big chunky pieces of glitter just kind of sitting on your skin. So overall, this basically felt like a hydrating serum, but it didn't give any kind of blurring effect. It didn't give any illumination to my skin. I kind of felt like it was a little bit of a pointless product. And to be honest with you, I felt like it was just a little bit gimmicky with the packaging. I mean, it looked cool and all, but it really didn't do anything. So it left me feeling a bit disappointed. Next up, I also couldn't wait to try their serum blushes. So these look so high-end. They look beautiful on the website. The packaging is gorgeous. They come in a glass bottle with like a silver dropper style cap. And liquid blushes are just so popular right now. I was excited for these, and I got two shades, one that's more pink and one that's more peachy. And they have like a really emollient serum-like feel. They blend really easily and they leave a dewy finish on your skin. They do stay tacky for a little while, but eventually they do dry down most of the way, which is okay with me. I don't love blushes that don't completely dry down, but as long as they're not super sticky, it's okay. And when you go to blend these out, they're actually really, really sheer. So if you want some more color, you have to build them up, which then could increase the tackiness factor. Now, okay, here's the weird thing about these blushes, and this totally took me by surprise. So when I first applied these, they kind of I don't know, it was like a little bit of a warming sensation as opposed to the JOAH primer that was cooling. These felt like they were heating up my cheeks, and I'm like, what the heck is going on? And I kind of smelled, or I thought I smelled something like spicy or cinnamon or something. So I go to look at the ingredient list, and lo and behold, these actually have cinnamon and ginger essential oils in them. Now, these oils are vasodilators, so they basically increase the circulation and kind of bring the blood to the surface of your skin. So it is going to create more of a natural flush to your skin, as well as the color that you're putting on. They sometimes put these oils in lip plumpers to kind of help, bring the blood into your lips a little bit more. So honestly, I felt kind of weird about it being on my skin. I mean, I didn't have any type of weird reaction to it, but I just wasn't sure if cinnamon oil or ginger oil would be good for my skin long term. Like, I don't know what the effects are. I think I have to look into it a little bit more. This is another thing, kind of like the peppermint oil in the JOAH product, that I feel like it could potentially cause irritation for some people. And while I don't mind putting it on my lips, I just felt really weird about putting it on my actual skin, on my cheeks. So I don't know. What do you guys think? Have you tried any products with this in it? I don't feel like I've seen it before, but maybe it exists out there somewhere. So I'd love to hear your thoughts on these. But to be honest, I wasn't super crazy about these blushes after that, and I just really wish they hadn't added those into the formula. I just feel like they would have been better without it. Another product I got is the Cloud Blush and Lip Tints. So these come in cute little glass pots, and the colors are so stunning. I got 2 different shades, and this product looked right up my alley. So they have a really soft, kind of moussey texture, and they go on really smoothly, and they give your cheeks a little pop of color. They're not super overly pigmented, but because they do dry down all the way, you can build them up if you want to. They have more of that powdery finish, and they also don't disturb your foundation underneath, which is great. I think they're a little too dry for me to use on my lips though, since my lips are more on the dry side, but on my cheeks, they're great. I actually really like these. I think they have a high-end feel between the packaging and the formula, so these were a hit. They kind of remind me a lot of the ColourPop Super Shock cheeks. So let me just quickly show you guys the 2 colors and me putting them on today. So the first color I used was Soft Focus. This is that really, really light peach color. And to be honest with you, when I put this on, it really didn't show up all that much, especially on camera. I think this is a color, if I used it in my everyday life, you would be able to see my blush very easily. But when I'm on camera, I do have to apply quite a bit more makeup. So if it looks like it doesn't show up, it really does. It's a beautiful, soft blush, but I just wanted to point that out because sometimes the camera can be a little bit deceiving. And then the other shade I got is Cirrus. And this one is really beautiful as well. It's a little bit more of a deeper peach, and this one shows up a lot more, but it still surprised me by how sheer it was. It looks a lot darker in the pot than it does once you spread it out on your skin. So you can easily build it up if you want to, and I feel like it shows up great on my fair skin tone, but if you have a deeper skin tone, I don't know how well these would work out because they are very, very sheer. I also got 3 mini palettes from the new collection as well, and the packaging on these is so, so gorgeous. So let's take a quick look at all of them up close. The first one is Basic Peach, and this one has like a pink crocodile type cover. It's like a leatherette. It feels very luxurious and it's just a high-end feel to it. Inside you have 6 shades with 2 mattes and 4 shimmers. The color story I think for this one is really, really light overall. The mattes are just 1 ivory shade and 1 mid-tone peach, but no deeper option. And then the shimmer shades are also just very light and super, super shimmery. They're kind of sheer like toppers, but they do make a really big impact on your eyes and kind of give that wet look. The only thing that I do want to mention about this one though is that there are those tiny little micro glitters in every single shade in this palette, even the matte ones. But as far as the mattes go, when you apply them to your eyes, I don't see those glitter particles at all. They're really like micro fine, so they're the type that just kind of brush away as you're applying the mattes with a brush. But in the shimmer shades, those micro glitters just really give it that wet look, so it's a little bit more intense than like a regular shimmer shade would be. And then the next palette we have is Pretty Little XX, and this one has like a taupey crocodile outer packaging. and really, really gorgeous peachy shades inside. I think this one's a little bit more balanced. It has 3 mattes, 3 shimmers, and this one also has a little bit more depth to it, especially when it comes to the matte shades. Again, the mattes in this palette do have those micro glitters, but not a lot of them. I feel like, again, once you put it on your eyes, you don't see them at all. And the shimmer shades in this palette have less of that glittery topper feel, and they were just more pigmented and creamy. So between the two, I think this one is definitely my favorite. It's actually the one that I'm wearing in the video today, and I think it performed beautifully. I've never had an issue with the XX Revolution formula. I think it's one of their better ones. So I thought the mattes were super pigmented. They blended really nicely. They had good grip, and then the shimmer shades too. They made a really good impact just with one swipe of the finger. So I did really enjoy using this palette. And then the third one that I got is called Cozy AF, and this one has a little bit of a different outer packaging. It just feels like a regular cardboard palette. It doesn't have the croc design. And then inside you have really warm, toasty brown shades for this one. One of them actually broke in transit, so I had to press it back together. But this one has 2 mattes and 4 shimmers, and I can definitely see getting some really pretty, like, smoky brown looks out of this one. I love the chocolatey brown vibe mixed with the copper, and the shimmer shades in this palette also felt super smooth and nicely pigmented, while the mattes are very soft and velvety as well. Also from this line, I got a cream highlighter. This is in the shade Haze. This comes in the same packaging as the little lip and cheek tints, and it has that same sort of moussey feel to it. When I first saw this color, I thought it was stunning because it's like a gold, but it also has some like rose gold in it, some pink. So it's almost a duochrome shade. It's beautiful, but when I swatched this out, it is so glittery. It's definitely not the smooth type of highlighter that I like. It just had too much glitter for me. So sadly, I don't see myself wearing this, even though I normally do love cream highlighters in this type of formula. I just wish that it wasn't as sparkly as it actually is. And then the last thing I got from Revolution was the X Appeal Repairing Lip Mask. This one also comes in a frosted glass pot with sort of like an iridescent cap. Really, really pretty. And the lip balm inside is super nice. I mean, for me, it's a basic lip balm. I didn't notice it like completely wowing me, but it's one of those thinner formulas that has so much gloss to it. So it just looks really, really glossy and gives that sort of wet look on your lips. It wasn't as thick as I normally like my lip balms to be, but I feel like it did a really nice job hydrating my lips, and it doesn't have a scent to it either. So for me, it was just kind of okay. I don't feel like I would necessarily repurchase it. So overall, I think from Makeup Revolution, there were definitely some hits and misses, which is my usual experience from them. I think what would be worth getting for me is the palettes, especially if you don't mind the micro glitters, and also the little blush and lip tints in the pots. I wasn't a huge fan of the serum blushes, again, just because of those oils that are in here and the kind of warming sensation. It makes me a little bit nervous. The highlighter, which I felt was too glittery, and then this primer, which looks beautiful, but did nothing for me. So I'd love to hear from you guys if you've tried any of these products down below. So next up, I also got a box from LA Girl. They have some new products. I don't know if these are at Ulta yet, but they are available now on their website. So they sent over some brand new matte bronzers and also their hydrating mist in 2 different flavors, or not flavors, fragrances. We have dragon fruit and pineapple. So let's just quickly touch on the hydrating mist first. So this claims to be a blend of rosewater, aloe, witch hazel, and vitamin E, and they're supposed to just revive your complexion with a quick boost of moisture. They also have a really micro fine mist that is beautiful. I really love the mister on these. So it seems like these are more of like a midday refresher type of spray versus an actual setting spray. They don't have any claims as far as like helping your makeup to last longer or anything. They just say that they're supposed to soothe and refresh your skin. So I guess it's just something you could use to kind of mist on during the daytime. And as far as the scents go, I like them. I think the pineapple one smells just like pineapple. It's very pina colada-like. And then the dragon fruit one, I was expecting something very fruity, but to me, it actually smells like, and I guess you would have had to try this product to know what I'm talking about, but if you've ever tried the Paul Mitchell Avapui, shampoo-y line, those shampoos, it smells a lot like that. It's a very tropical, very fresh kind of scent. So I really like this one. I think even better than the pineapple. And then when it comes to the matte bronzers, they come in 2 shades. These are humongous. They're really, really big pans, which I like. They're $10. They come in these big plastic packaging. So honestly, it's a little bit chunky, not my favorite packaging in the world, but it's all right. So these claim to have a silky buildable formula with vitamin E and coconut fruit extract, and it does have a light tropical scent to it. A little bit of coconut, but not overpowering, nothing like the Physicians Formula butter bronzers where you can smell them like as soon as you open the drawer that they're in. This is not like that at all. I barely smelled the coconut. I had to kind of put my nose right up to it. So it's not a crazy heavy scent or anything. So let me show you guys some swatches of the 2 shades that I have. The lighter one is called Back to the Beach. This one is like the perfect cooler tone bronzer for my fair skin tone. It's beautiful. And then the deeper one is Lost in Paradise. I think both of these have that more pinkish reddish undertone that I really, really love. So I wanted to quickly compare the Back to the Beach shade with my Gucci bronzer that I've been using lately because a lot of you guys have been asking me to find a dupe for that one. So let's take a look at them together. And I have the Gucci bronzer in the shade Fair. And honestly, I think these are actually pretty close in color. When you blend them out on your skin, I don't think they're gonna look a whole lot different. I feel like the LA Girl one might be just slightly deeper, but they're very, very close. And then I also wanted to see what it looked like next to the Milani Silky Matte Bronzer in the shade Sunkissed, because that's another one of my favorite cool toned bronzers. And so I just left the swatch of the Gucci one so you could see what it looked like next to that too. And to my surprise, I felt like the Milani one almost looked a little bit yellowy compared to the other 2. It's definitely not as pink as I was thinking it was. It's also a little bit deeper as well. So I just thought that that was kind of an interesting comparison. And I did actually use the lighter bronzer all over my face today. It's definitely not an overpowering bronzer. It's not going to be super dark or muddy on you if you have a lighter skin tone. I feel like it's a really easy to use bronzer, very user friendly. So anyway, guys, that's everything that I have for this week. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please don't forget to hit that thumbs up button. I'd love to hear your thoughts on all of these products down in the comments below. I love chatting with you guys and hearing what you're thinking. And if you've tried any of these, love to hear about your experience, or if you're thinking about purchasing, I'd love to know that as well. So thank you guys so much for spending part of your Sunday here with me. I appreciate it so much. I hope you all have a great rest of your weekend. Take care, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye, guys.